Welcome back. Now it's his bold new green agenda, but President Bush's eco-credentials suffered another blow today as Congress heard renewed allegations that his staff censored scientific research to undermine evidence of global warming. Mr. Bush's plans to curb carbon emissions are already in trouble. Critics say they won't work. His former friends in the energy industry say they don't go far enough. Our Foreign Affairs correspondent Nick Payton-Walsh reports.
There have been allegations that the research of respected climate scientists was being distorted and suppressed by the Bush administration.
It's not what George Bush wants America to hear right now. A congressional investigation opening today over whether a White House official, a former oil industry consultant no less, edited government reports to play down climate change.
We know that the White House possesses documents that contain evidence of an attempt by senior administration officials to mislead the public by injecting doubt into the science of global warming and minimizing the potential dangers.
You can see why the White House might be reluctant. They've been busy for the past week brandishing Mr. Bush's newfound green credentials.
America's on the verge of technological breakthroughs that will enable us to live our lives less dependent on oil. And these technologies will help us to confront the serious challenge of global climate change.
In his State of the Union speech last week, he pledged to cut petrol use by a fifth through boosting fuel efficiency and biofuel use. Some say he was appealing to an American public facing high petrol prices and driving fewer miles each year for the first time since the 80s. Mr. Bush has famously conceded that America's addicted to oil. But America's also addicted to coal. Its plants providing half its electricity and tons of carbon dioxide. And the president's refusal to tackle these emissions has got one unlikely group rattled: big energy.
The sooner there are mandatory federal caps on carbon dioxide, the better we will be.
The energy business is a long-term game. Duke Energy have spent $500 million on building this scrubber to help curb acid rain. It's not ready yet, but it's meant to comply with laws passed 17 years ago. That's why they need to know now what they'll have to do tomorrow about carbon dioxide. Coal is and will remain a very significant part of America's energy needs. There's not much you can really do to stop it producing carbon dioxide, however much you scrub it. And there's a growing public body of feeling in America right now that something needs to be done about emissions. So much so that 10 leading CEOs of American companies spoke out publicly on the Monday before George Bush's State of the Union speech. They called for proper nationwide caps on carbon dioxide emissions. Because basically, American business knows that these limits are coming and need to factor in their cost into their future business plans.
Clearly there'll be winners and losers in how this is managed. Our whole intent is we want a seat at the table as these discussions happen. Because if we don't have a seat at the table, there is a chance we could be on the menu.
Yet Mr. Bush ignored big energy, and even those who don't accept global warming don't understand his plan.
The president proposed an incoherent solution to something that is arguably at least not a problem.
But as the United Nations will report on Friday, climate change is a growing problem, and one, critics say, the president should have addressed, not just to boost his ebbing popularity. Nick Payton-Walsh, Channel 4 News, Charlotte, North Carolina.